What is up, people? How are you all doing? I am actually on screen now, rather than just it being the stocks going up and down. How is everyone today? Who's invested? Who's not? Let's have a chat. Still 20 minutes until the market's open, so we've still got plenty of speculation to do between now and then. Much appreciated, Dave. I appreciated the sub on Twitch as well. On Wednesdays, indeed. Although, to be fair, like, the real bloodbath's going to happen Friday when theoretically some of the brokers call in Melvin on their bets, which is going to be hilarious because then the actual shorts, like theoretically the shorts could get squeezed even further than they're being squeezed now, which would be very funny. Absolutely. Gonna take a chainsaw to the hedges. Also, the hedge trimmer, I guess, what those kind of things are called. Or they sound like chainsaws. Did either of you folks buy any stock? Let me just do some self-promotion on Twitter. I mean, if you wanted to buy, like, I don't know, like AMC or Nokia, it's not exactly expensive to just grab yourself a couple of shares. I mean, all the people who own, like, eToro and Trading 212 and all that folk must be feeling pretty good about themselves right now. I know Rise Dominions buy it, it's cool. There's still plenty of fun to be had with regards to what's going to be happening today. Interesting that Nokia's been going down a little bit here, but that's crazy. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. But the things like Nokia and AMC and BlackBerry, I think they're only shorted like 70. I think it was Nokia's paper was only shorted like 70%, rather than obviously being a naked short like GameStop, which is probably where the difference would come in. But we shall see what happens. Expecting much movement today? Yeah, I expect so. I'm expecting. I mean, based off of like the way this is kind of torn through social media, I'm expecting more people to get on it today. Just most of the kind of the hype happened after markets closed yesterday. So markets opening today, which would be when we see a lot of movement, and then obviously tomorrow's the big day when they might brokers might call in what they've lended out to the hedge funds themselves. I mean, it's always been Magic the Gathering for bankers. Although they always felt like they had a stacked deck before, and they don't anymore. Well, then again, short selling is always a risky business, because essentially the losses can be infinite. Because if you're trying to speculate on a stock going up, all you do is buy a stock, and then the most you can lose is the amount that you've paid for the stock. But if you owe someone a bunch of stocks that you've hoped has gone down in value, and they just keep increasing, you're gonna have to pay whatever it finishes up at, no matter how. Like, that could go as high as ad infinitum. Well, the wild part is, Nasdaq saying they might close trading to help them recalibrate their positions, which is essentially just saying, stop the ride I want to get off. I mean, I don't want to really. I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't really speculate on the part of AMC and Nokia and things like that. But they're not gonna. They're gonna know they can go nowhere near as high as GME because they're not naked shorts. It's wild. I mean, I expect GameStop to go even higher. Ha. Can you even be not safe for work on TikTok? I have no idea how that platform works. Ah, 13 minutes left. I tried to watch the film The Big Short last night and I ended up falling asleep. Well, no, they thought they were invulnerable because the credit crunch happened and all the rich bankers ended up keeping all of their money. Like, they thought they were invulnerable because they were. Like, they literally... They gambled all of their money away and then they just got bailed out by the taxpayer. They realised they were completely invincible because they have the entire world to ransom. Oh, let's change that over to... There we go. Yeah, there are some lewds, but there's not much... There's not much... There's nothing like not safe for work. Vampire money was what we all needed. It's what we all deserved. If you're watching and you've never subbed to me before and you don't know who I am, please subscribe if you'd like to. I do like gaming content and leftist politics. I'm rubbish. I am the internet's laziest political commentator. But still subscribe for, my own personal desire to be able to get 1,000 subs. Oh. Let's open this one back up. Add new source. Where's that gone? I just don't get involved unless, this kind of thing is happening. Like, the only reason this is happening because such a large amount of people are getting involved. Like, in general, stocks are not going to be that volatile, and, trying to game the system to be able to make money off other people shorting stock only happens when all of these people get involved at once. I would always, get completely learned on market functions and things like that before you get involved personally, because it's, at the end of the day, it's your money to lose, right? Or like, obviously, if you're just, as mentioned before, if all you're doing is just buying stock to try and make a profit off by selling it, like, the worst you can lose is the money that you put in. So that's I mean, it could be worse. Thank you for the subscription, Mr. Dean. It is wonderfully appreciated. Getting some of Bezos' money today. Yeah, basically, yeah. Essentially, all it is just funny because they're losing money. Like, I mean, the vast majority of people who get involved in this are probably not gonna do too badly, but I mean, unless they get in on it really, really late, the biggest losses will come from the hedge funds, because especially in the case of GME, is because they've short sold more stock than exists. Like, they have to buy that back eventually. Like, so the limit to how high it could go, it's kind of stratospheric. Unlike with AMC and Nokia and BlackBerry, where they could just end up like selling out, right? I mean, Melvin Capital, I think, could stand to like go completely insolvent at the end of the week, which could be very funny. I know, right? I mean, it's the ultimate like it's like the proletarian revolution. I mean, to a certain extent, right? Oh, shut up! Oh, my phone's gone off. There we go. I mean, at the end of the day, like as I was saying before, like they feel like they have a kind of a God-given right to be able to manipulate the market to their will, and to be bailed out by either legislation or public money. When they realise that they don't have a carte blanche to do whatever the fuck they want and make money indefinitely and make money off doing nothing either. And in the case of what this was, is trying to make money off deliberately driving companies into the ground. Like, that it happened with I mentioned before, they happened with the financial crisis in 2008, when they were just like, everyone got bailed out, and they realised, oh, we're completely invulnerable. We don't have to care about small people anymore, because no matter how badly we bet, no matter how poorly our business practices are, we're just going to get bailed out because we're too big to fail, and this is the consequence. Fingers crossed on Friday. Yeah, they'll be so GameStop will be so high that Melvin literally do it out of business, which would be very funny. Three minutes till market's open. I mean, you can see here already, like, the expected value of this is collapsed really highly. So in out of hours trading, they've essentially the people who would usually do out of hours trading are the big like main investors, like the institutional investors trying to drive the price down to try and make you think that you can't make money off it. But I have a feeling this is going to go even higher today. I mean, yeah, this is just like completely pointless. It's almost like having an entire economic system that's based off of a bunch of numbers floating in a bowl of dream juice. It really probably wasn't a great way of, making the economy. Like, as there's the hilarious David Mitchell like thing when we talk about it. It's just like when the financial crash happened. It's just like nothing's happened. Nothing's caught fire. It's not like every pig in New Zealand, every sheep in New Zealand's have died of blight. Yeah, like just type it back in. Just type it back in. It's fine. That's do I do that there? That's that screen. 1 minute. Oh, it's open now. And my phone's going off again. Right, bear with us 1 sec. There we go. Don't know I had an alarm for 2:30. Oh, look at this. Look at the stocks fly. Well, people who brought naked did pretty well. No chart data available. Okay, we're climbing back up again. Let's have a look. Yeah, see, like the massive, like the tank, it was 350 overnight. This was £1.30 overnight. I genuinely thought I was genuinely going to buy like 50 quid's worth of this stock, but I couldn't get myself verified on eToro because I didn't have the right, whatchamacallit, documents. See, like the big drop at start of day's trading and then the climb up again. Jeez, naked's up 75% already. Right, finally we get some chart data. Where are we? Yeah, I thought naked was going to be a one to watch. Oh, a little bit of a dip here, but stock's still rising. Interesting that these three are all holding steady for the moment. Although we're almost back up to parity on GameStop already, and it's only been what, 3 minutes? Hello, if you're watching here or not in chat, but you have only just come across my stream, hello, my name is No Justice. I stream some video games, leftist political content, things like that. If you want to subscribe, please do. Please leave a like. Any interaction is appreciated. Joining me on this historic day in which hedge funds are going to get fucked up. Fingers crossed. Surprised to see AMC not climbing as quickly as GameStop here. New people kind of all in on AMC previously. to sort this out now. Let's go in. Don't know my phone's playing silly buckets with me, but I'll go through. Well, this is volatile here. Let's see, it goes up and down, up and down. Although it's still almost double what it was at the start of play. GameStop almost back at parity. I expect GameStop to go pretty high today, even higher than what it was previously. I mean, most people would just be getting involved right now, buying more stock. Although I guess if WallStreetBets has got involved, WallStreetBets would have already been here. They would have been waiting for markets to open as well, just like Wall Street would too. So obviously, the institutional investors are all trying to buy up stock to be able to cover their shorts, or are continuing to borrow more to short more, and also Wall Street Bets are then continuing to buy more stock. Well, not even Wall Street Bets, just everyone at this point, like the Twitterverse. Yeah, BlackBerry's still a company, and like BlackBerry had a deal they did with like Amazon to do some other stuff. So apparently they have something going on at the moment. I forget. They do background part design. They don't really have. They're not like a flagship producer anymore like they used to be. But they're still in business, but people are expecting them to tank because they don't make any flagship products anymore, which is why they got shorted, and because they got shorted, that's why people are then buying the stock to then kill the short sellers. Oh! GameStop going up, stonks. We have reached maximum stonk. They are now positive on GME. Yeah. I'd heard that I think Robinhood deliberately took the deliberate decision to stop trading GME stock, but rather than getting banned specifically, I'm not sure. But you can still do it on Vanguard and eToro and Trading 212, a place like that. We are truly in stonk world at the moment. For what it's worth, I think it's bullshit. I think Melvin and places like that were bullshitting us when they said that they'd closed their shorts. I think that's nonsense. They're trying to get people to panic sell. I have to do it with my phone 1 sec. There we go. We're still going. We're still going. We good? We good? Yeah, we're good. We're good. I've got to move that around a bit. There we go. Sorted. Stonky Kong 64. Still been going up all day, blimey. After a very short... After starting the day low, it's gone back up again, which is good. What the little, like, old Hot Wheels called? They Tonka trucks, and these Stonka trucks. Money printer go burr. Wow, people who were trading in naked overnight really made a killing, haven't they? I'm honestly surprised how resilient people have been to not just, like, completely sell off all of their GameStop stock as immediately as they could have done. I would. Like, deep fucking value turn his 50k into 22 million, I think, something stupid like that. Do you ever see Samantha Cameron post-Brexit trading difficult for my business? Oh, Diddums or Samantha, I'm so sorry. Thank you for spraying Bezos' money. It's much appreciated, Trigonal. I hope you're well. Stonk clock and 2 smoking barrels, absolutely. You know what? What they really could have done, though, is, like, if all of these, and if all these massive and hedge funds and institutional investors didn't want to completely go broken and end up on the streets, they would have, maybe they should have just stopped buying avocado toast and, stopped drinking coffee and put some money away and, got a weekend job. Much appreciated for the link there, Trigonal. That's much appreciated. Oh, whoops. I guess I'll do this now here. Let me throw my hat in the ring there. No worries, Trickle. It's much appreciated. I'll help see you on the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day. Did I spell it incorrectly? I did spell it incorrectly. Thank you very much, Dominion Spy. I will now go and edit this. That's supposed to be an S. That's supposed to have a space. Got a new phone today as well. Got a Samsung S20 FE in this beautiful lavender colour, which I'm very happy with. Right, these are almost all at parity now. Wonder when things are going to start spiking. Ooh, 12% more? Oh, 12 points rather, 4%. Naked's 140%. Okay, I think we're actually starting to see some stonks right now. Let me go and share a post on my actual Facebook. What's the reckoning Jamie will get up to 500 today, I wonder? Could be funny. I might be. Once markets close, yeah. There's still quite a while yet, though, but I might try and do some Magic this afternoon. I'll probably be playing Caltime, probably playing Historic, because I would like to put Combat Celebrants into play, because that's all I do with my life. I didn't even look at the Caltime spoilers to see whether I wanted to put any of the cards into my deck. Probably should have done. I basically own no paper cards at this point apart from my Pioneer deck. Very possibly. Ooh, up 10% now. Let's double check where we are at. I get paid at 4 o'clock, so I'm like waiting and waiting to get paid. I may buy some stocks if I can get myself, sourced on one of these bloody trading apps. I didn't realise, I only found out when I was researching this, that the reason Toys R Us went bust is because of short sellers. Essentially, like, hedge funds short selling Toys R Us just, like, completely tanked them and just, like, curbed them to the fucking ground. The apps, I mean, there's not much of a delay on, like, the actual trades you do, but you have to, it takes you time to get signed off. So they have to verify a bunch of documents, because if you're making capital gains on these things and you're gonna have to pay tax, they have to get all the information correct so they can they can report any of your gains to the tax office and things like that. Which is frustrating, but it is what it is. And I didn't have a lot of the documents to get that sorted immediately, so which is frustrating. Interesting that AMC is still down 30%. I would have expected this to be higher at this point. Nokia almost back at parity. I mean, most people are trying to get GME to 500, AME to 50, BlackBerry up to 30, and things like, and places like that, and maybe Nokia up to 10, 20. I'm interested to see how far Naked goes, because it could go pretty high. We're already at like plus 90, plus 100% at this point, but waiting for GME to break 400 today. Anyone see the news that Labour are now polling ahead of the Conservatives? Finally, do only took 100,000 dead British people for them to want to actually change. For them, the polls to actually change in favour of Labour. Oh, we're above 400 now. This is an interesting development. And continuing to climb to already at 410. Shame Labour didn't invest in GameStop. Then maybe they'd be 20 points ahead. Oh. Let's have a look what's going on here. I know, right? I mean, the funniest bit was when Priti Patel said, Or maybe we should have closed the borders from March 2020. I was like, you with the fucking Home Secretary, Preeti. You literally could have done that. You literally could have done. Oh, Trading 212. Due to buy restrictions placed by Media in every major execution venue worldwide, GameStop placed in close-only mode. New buy positions can't be initiated, existing ones can't be reduced or closed. Fuck me. They really are closing the fort now, aren't they? What the fuck? After delisting GameStop and AMC, Robinhood has got over 100,000 one-star reviews in 1 hour on the App Store, and now set with a 1 rating. They deserve it. Although, to be fair, like, how many of these are even left to buy? Who's even selling? Robbing Hood, love it. Apparently they're trying to go high on SNDL, sundial growers, whatever the fuck that is. And we'll burn Robin down to the ground. That's an interesting point. I didn't realise that. That's what would happen. That makes a lot of sense here. Didn't realise with regards to if no one can buy but you can sell, then you just leaves open a bunch of offers and it tanks the price. Why would they be linked? Why would this community be linked to the alt-right? This doesn't make any sense. I guess the alt-right are like anti. I mean, they probably really do view it really in a kind of anti-Semitic kind of light, I guess. But total return 100 grand, nice. Ooh, plus 100 points already? We're coming up to 500. Don't know why I clapped like a seal there. It's quite embarrassing. Oh well. Please, if you are watching now and you are not subscribed, I would very much appreciate if you did subscribe to the channel. I'd cover like some gaming content as well as politics, if that's your thing. If not, then no worries. You can just join in for the moment whilst we laugh at hedge fund managers getting their shit kicked in. How high can it go? Literally, we're almost at 500. Like, what time is this? 4 minutes ago, it was at 419. 14 minutes ago, it was at 350. It's already at 450. Hello there, ham yield. Is the ham yield pretty good today? Have the crop reports damaged your ham yield? I mean, I'm assuming people are using, what was it, Weeble is another one that people have been using? To the moon indeed, Jackson Windsor. Hello, nice to see you. Sitting pretty in the rocket, love it. What have you folks bought stocks in out of the last few days? What are you sitting pretty holding? That's true. Is the ham yield great enough to be able to make ham tea? That is a very good question. Confide music. Nice, nice. Not done much. I've not looked at blackberry much today. I mean, it went up to a high of 22 previously. Yeah, exactly. It's the only like naked short of the out of these, but there's definitely some scope to making money on the other ones too. I've been surprised by the increase in naked pre-event so far. I mean, they're trading at 92% at this point from the from open. I mean, at one point they were up here over at above $3 a share, which is crazy. That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's a very good point. Ham yield. What's happening with koss right now? Jesus. 73%? Fuck me. Ah, Jimmy is sunk already. That's so sad. Plenty of time though. It's a big drop here. Big spike going up and down. Ooh. Naked at 50% rather than it's gone down again. Yeah. I hate that it keeps zooming me out when I keep changing. Sundala plus 83. That's pretty good. I was surprised to see koss go so high. Yes, I know. I'm a bad girl with ad blocker on this website. Well, let's see what Ben Shapiro has to say. This should be a laugh. Just you trade in stocks each day and to make money, just as you do with your job to make money. Oh, I mean, we actually put labour in to make our work rather than just like playing with numbers, so it's different. I mean, I think like point three. Well, there's kind of a miscommunication here, and we're saying that they purely game the system how they make their money. I mean, like, to be fair, like the vast majority of his people gaming the system, like in regards to short selling at the very least, because this is, at the end of the day, like the vast majority of what's happening here isn't people angry at people for just being people who play the stock market. It's specifically, the how awful short sellers are for the market in general. How short sellers will deliberately try and kill off people's businesses, people where people work, right? And specifically for their own financial speculation, which is what short selling, does, and that's why they're doing it. It's not just we hate anyone who's in the stock market, right? Well, also, like trying to compare this to a pump and dump is incorrect. When the idea that the speculation that you've got on there going forward is the fact that you will make money because the short sellers have to buy back their shares. It's not a pump and dump where the value will tank whenever everyone sells. I mean, the value will go down, but the fact is you've got to wait until the point at which short sellers have to buy back the stock and the stock price increases hilariously, and then they end up with the ones taking the loss rather than the regular retail investors. I mean, that would have been a good idea for them to do, wouldn't it? If they'd stopped eating avocado toast, if they'd planned for future, stop having Starbucks and eating out, then maybe, or pulled themselves by the bootstraps. Oh, hey, Popey, how are we doing? It's pure dislike for hedge fund guys. No shit, Ben Shabibo. No shit that everyone hates hedge fund guys. Because it's not. I mean, it's not really corruption to engage in short selling, but it is all. It is bellendery. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Thanks. At least you've got the COVID jab, yeah. Yeah, I know, right? The fact that like people if that money gets used, the stimulus check money just completely goes back into the economy because the vast majority will because they're working class and that's what working class people do. Then it's going to stimulate additional actual growth. Like, it's not technically hyperinflation if it entirely stays within the, actually stays within the economy and generates economic interaction. Like Belendery, indeed. It's a good word. I'm a fan of Belendery. Some hedge funds guys are jackasses, some aren't, but undermining confidence in the pricing mechanism of the market to make some quick cash and screw those guys in virtue. I mean, it is literally virtuous because we're taking money away from people who are deliberately trying to kill other people's businesses, who have billions of dollars of essentially what is like blood money, and we're taking that and we are redistributing that to the common folk. I don't know how that could how that could be anything other than virtuous, Mr. Shapiro. Well, to be fair, it's not undermining confidence in the pricing mechanism of the market. It is literally how the pricing mechanism of the market work, where we are taking people's stupid bets and turning them on their heads. Looks like GME is getting kind of stable at 410. Interesting. AMC issued 44 million additional shares this morning. Didn't realize that. And there are some, and in the same hour, apps are stopping buys on that stock. Interesting. Yeah, it is clever on their part, isn't it? Makes a lot of sense. Where was the high? That's a really good shout, actually. Would that then, if they're selling those shares to to essentially WSB people, if that's where they're selling their shares to, would that increase that then, as long as they were entirely sold to people who weren't short selling, would that increase the share price higher? Makes sense. Oh, so good. I love that. That's true. Oh yeah, actually, yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't think of that. Oh, that'd be the absolute dream if that happened. Because not only would they have been overshorted and had calls, they would also have good fundamentals too, which would increase. I mean, the share price would be stratospheric. Cheers, Amber. I know you're watching me, but I just commented on my Facebook post. I mean, that is fair. That was the reason they were getting shorted in the first place, because they're on the downswing. And Jimmy gone back down again. What did that change over? At about 3 o'clock. We're looking at some pretty volatile markets today. If people like Robin Hood just aren't letting people buy shares. I am tired. Didn't sleep very well. Wow, AMC down 40%. That's wild. Wasn't expected to go down that far. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Trading 2 and 2 have stopped people buying GameStop and stopped them buying AMC at this point. I'm back over 400 for GameStop now, at least. Bollinger Bands? Squeezing the bands means something's about to happen, usually. Aha, that's the one. Interesting. I'm glad someone's here that knows more than I do. That makes sense, yeah. Just checking, I was actually looking at GameStop. Hello, Halo Fridge. How are you doing today? You keeping well? Did you buy any stocks? You specking? You hoping for something to go to the moon today? Traders in meltdown as Reddit formerly's hedge fund on the brink of bankruptcy. I mean, not surprising. Although it's going to be difficult if they can't buy any more shares because of Robinhood and Trading 212 and places like that are putting a freeze on buying any more GameStop stock. Absolutely. Well, that's why I'm here. I'm not here to. I've not got any money thrown at any of these just yet. So mostly just here for watching short sellers get their shit kicked in. It's nice. Well, if you're not subscribed, I would highly recommend subscribing. Halo Fridge. I do leftist political content and gaming streams and things like that because I'm another internet person. Wall Street right now would be like, how dare you using my own spells against me, Potter? You already did perfect. Well, thank you very much, Halo Fridge. Oh, by all means, yeah. I figure after this week I probably will not be covering stocks and shares very long. But you know, whilst the hype's there, we'll ride the hype train. Catherine to get paid. I'm going to order some food. It's all very Trading Places. I rewatched Trading Places last night because I love that film. Gave me the warm fuzzies. And also reading the Reddit threads of people being able to give their money away to charity, or like paying off their student debt, or sorting medical bills, all that kind of stuff. It makes me really happy watching all of these kind of things. Do you have a rough explanation of what the Bollinger Bands even mean? Or like how they're calculated? Makes sense, yeah. Wow, AMC is tanked hard. Unsurprising, really. Oh, you think? I mean, if it's something that's not like a completely naked short, then, and the price is inflated because of the hype sell, of the hype of the the hype buying, that kind of stuff, then it's the perfect time to get involved, being trying to short again. Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah. Yeah, it is funny that it's GameStop, right? The people who would sell your game for $50 and buy it back for 11. Stockton Mothercare or something. And like the next one down being AMC is even funnier. I mean, it's all stuff. It's all about, apart from like Naked and Sun Growl Growers, whatever the fuck means going on there. It's all stuff that internet nerds would love. BlackBerry, AMC, GME, and Nokia. I mean, gamers always secretly wanted to rise up against capitalism. I mean, if you've watched enough Jim Sterling, like, you understand like the sneaky fuckers and that they get up to on what the sneaky fuckers get up to at the heads of the gaming market and the way they squeeze money out of their players. It does indeed compound them potentially even further, yeah? Naked all the way back down to 18%. Probably a bit kind of reasonable. I'm having worked at CEX myself, which is just like the UK version of GameStop. I understand. Although to be fair, like people got angry with the prices that second-hand retailers would give you for your old merchandise, because they just didn't fundamentally just didn't understand how the business worked. Just like, I was at the Salford one as well, so I can't fucking believe, give me fucking 50 fucking P for FIFA 14, mate. That's back when I worked there, and it's just like, well, if we're gonna buy all of your FIFA 14s off you, like, we have to make enough money off of it. The percentage margin has to be, similar to the percent of them we actually sell. Like, if we buy 10 copies of FIFA 15 at 50p, even if we're selling it at £4, we still need to sell, like, half of them. So we need to sell like at least 2 of those, which we don't. Like, we just buy a bunch of stock we never sell, and essentially we just had to take a massive loss on a bunch of DVDs and games that people were never going to buy to be able to profit off of our market cornering antics. And so remember when the Switch was released? And they sold out immediately, and then just like they ended up on the shelves at CEX for £100 more than the price. Essentially, yeah, like what we would do at CEX, we'd offer you more than list price to be able to buy them off you, and then further add more onto that. Although to be fair, there was 2 things. Real. First of all, it is kind of like scalping, which is bad. I'm not going to defend scalping. But at the very least, if you bought your Switch, your PS5 from CX, you could just trade in towards it. Like it's computer entertainment exchange, not just a buy. You're not just there not there to just take your money. We do want to trade you in your old stuff, and you could have, if you wanted to just trade in a bunch of old DVDs towards a PS5, you could have done. Would have taken 50,000 DVDs, but you could have done it. Like. There's at least some level to which, these practices were at least semi-justifiable. I don't think people really cared about how much they bought them for. It was just how much the GameStop and CX would have sold them back at. But as I mentioned before, with the FIFA 14 example, like you've got to, if you buy 10 things a £1 each, and you're selling them at £5. If you sell 2 of them, you're still only at parity, right? You still need, plus any kind of sales tax and things like that too. You would need to then make more money. You need to sell more than just 2 of them. And if it's something that nobody wants, then you're never gonna make the money back. Because you have to offer this ridiculous exchange this ridiculous difference between the buy price and the sell price to make any profit at all. Although CX fucked people out of a load of holidays, so I would not recommend working there. Also, the hours were shit, my boss was a cunt. Tesla's new Model S will apparently play Witcher 3 on built-in 10 teraflop gaming rig. Why would you be gaming when you're driving? Isn't that kind of illegal? I mean, it wasn't a terrible experience. Like, the people you worked with were nice, and like the actual company culture was good. Like, you got to wear whatever you wanted to work, and people like with tattoos and piercings were highly welcomed, and it was kind of casual. It was just like they got away with treating employees like where they should be treating them, because if they gave you all of these like fringe benefits, whereas things like holiday pay and sick pay was stuff you didn't get, right? I mean, on my current place of work, I get 5 full sick days pay, and I get an additional holiday day on top of on top of my regular allowance for every year I've worked with the company, and that's just kind of shit you just never got with CEX. And because they only hire kids, they just expect you to just accept whatever you get. It's like just like the rest of the economy, right? Like waiting staff as well. They just they expect you to make do with what they'll give you. And so, we do a music festival, and we're cool and we're hip for being CEX. I'm like, well, I would trade that all in for just getting a proper fucking wage, like, and some sick pay, please, like, and hours. Like, so at CEX they have a thing called a wage budget. Now, the way this works is that based off on how much you buy and sell, because both your buying and your selling increases your metrics, based off how much you buy and sell, they will give you a percentage of that as a maximum that you can spend on wages, and it's based off month on month from the previous year's takings, right? So if your certain store didn't sell enough, possibly due to location, possibly due to you not pitching the right things or whatever, like, they wouldn't give you enough, the percentage would always stay the same. I think it was something crazy, like 2.8% or something of takings you could spend on wages. It was ridiculous. And let me just Google it, so I'm not going to completely lie here. How much the wage budget was, but anyway, it meant that if you worked, I was working at the Salford store, and Salford's a pretty impoverished area. It meant that we never really sold much like high level stock. We mostly just bought stock and then sent it off to other places. And as the amount of stock that you buy is worth way less than the amount that you sell, our total turnover on our metrics with regards to this was actually pretty low. So we didn't have much of a wage budget. So we could only really afford like 3 staff in a day, sometimes only 2 staff when we didn't expect to be very busy. And if it did get busy, it was a nightmare, because it's just it's just you buying stuff off customers, which takes longer than selling things, because you have to test it, you have to check all of the discs. Like, a customer comes in with 100 DVDs, and that's one staff member out of action for 40 minutes, right? So we were always understaffed. We always didn't get enough hours to be able to make ends meet, because the original founder of CEX, a guy called Bobby, died, and his family, who then took over the estate, then refused to change how much the wage budget was, so they could keep as much money as they could off the company, and then let the majority shareholders, they got to choose, and obviously they appointed the CEO who did their bidding, which meant that it was difficult for us to be able to get enough money from that to be able to pay our staff members, and they just wouldn't fucking change it, because this guy's family are really fucking greedy and want to take as much money for themselves as possible. Very frustrating. But no, like, we're doing a new sex fest. I'm just like, just increase the wage budget, please. It was very, very tilting. There was one point where, despite the fact that I was doing like the second most work in the store behind this other girl called Emily, like, even though I was doing the most work, they reduced my hours to like 10 hours a week, just saying, we don't think you're pulling your weight, despite the fact that they sat on the rolls all fucking day. this manager and this other supervisor. And I just immediately quit on the spot. And I now make more money being miserable in a call centre. By call centre, I mean my bedroom. So that was a nice little detour into the world of CEX. What's happening here? Down 14%. I'm assuming there's more people shorting. Or new shorts, rather. Oh, I need to change my stream title. That would help. My stream title still says waiting for the markets to open, and they opened like almost an hour and a half ago. Edit stream info, right. That's better. Actually have the right title now. It's almost like when you look at the States and they don't even get like proper like holiday pay or maternity pay like we do, which is pretty sickening. And just like, best I can do is pizza party on a Friday. Come on, 4 o'clock. I would like to order some food. I'm doing a best Hassan Piker impression. Wow, traffic's so high on WallStreetBets won't even load. There we go. That's still just crashing on me. Oh geez, Jamie down 50 points. Again, I'm assuming this is just new shorts going through. Any current investors in the chat? Anyone got their own stocks they got there? They've bought anything? I guess it's difficult to buy at the moment with all the apps stopping you from buying things, but just wanted to triple check, see if anyone's got anything that they're speculating on. And obviously know that the ham yield has got a pretty sufficient yield of GME and an AMC going on, but please, if you are watching on Twitch or YouTube, please follow or subscribe. It would be very appreciated if you did. And give the video a like if you're watching on YouTube as well. Let me bring up this tweet. Love this one. It's like, socialist, do you know it's a gotcha move for capitalism? What you're seeing is literally your dream economic model at work. Dream economic model at work. Billionaires and the government dictate what you can buy and sell in the market. The game being rigged is socialism. Relax. Yeah, absolutely. When capitalists rig the system for capitalism, that's for capitalists. That's socialism. There's another interesting division, another interesting description of socialism, parroted by capitalists. Well, literally, like the fact that when he gets it's like cronyism, it's got crony capitalism very specifically, where the rich people get to use the government as a means with which to protect their investments, right? I guess in like a truly free market, then they wouldn't be these things. What's happening with AMC and GME, where they just get shot, where the trading's being halted by these applications. So what you're saying is capitalism is socialism just for the rich, right? I guess as always, the only true statement is that socialism is when the government does stuff. Like that's the only possible description of it that possibly exists. Exactly. Socialism is where the government does stuff. The more stuff it does, the socialister it is. And when it does all of the stuff, that's communism. That's why super capitalism is the correct economic model, because it gives you the most private ownership of the means of production. Like, the more people who privately own them, the capitalister it is, right? That's why super capitalism is the way forward. I am indeed a super capitalist. This is this right here. This is super capitalism right here. Oops. We tried Webull or eToro. I know Trading 212 and Robinhood might have stopped, but it depends where you're based in the world. Obviously, I'm UK based, so it might be different around here. Webull I know has been getting a lot of traction. Let me just double check the Discord. Yeah, Webull is the best place to go, I think, if you're US based. eToro is good in the UK. Possibly E-Trade. Obviously, I would obviously paraphrase by saying that I'm not a financial advisor. Please do not take any specific financial tips from me. I mean, they've certainly had to take a lot of kind of government measures to be able to control the pandemic, which is counter to their regular neoliberal kind of government framework, like the one where they absorbed all of the rail franchise contracts, which hopefully will still be absorbed by 2024, in which case, if the Labour government wins that election, then they can nationalise the railways over again, which would be good. And I definitely think, Dominion, that the pandemic has forced the Conservatives to abandon their austerity platform, at least somewhat. But instead of abandoning the austerity platform, they're just pumping public money into their mates' bank accounts with these dodgy contracts for PPE and things like that. Yeah, socialising losses and capitalising profits. That's the way it works. It's the Conservative wet dream. GameStop being shorted hard again. Wow, and AMC too. Oh, I can get myself paid right now. So I'm going to do that. I love watching my Monzo tick up when I put the money into my account. It's good. Makes me happy. Huh. Someone commented on my YouTube account saying, someone called a no piece, and said commented on one of my videos. Yeah, they've stopped selling. They've stopped letting people buy GME. You can still put your sales up, but you can't buy. So essentially, they're trying to force people to flood the market. Quite very much democratizing finance for all, indeed. How very ironic. Wow, the tweet they posted about it has got 2.9k likes and 11.6k quote tweets. The ratio is wild. Although someone in the comments of it saying, why don't you stop pulling this commie bullshit and let people do what they want? You'd like you advertise for your service in the first place. I'm like, I'm sorry, but the fact that, you know, the system is rigged in favour of big business is not it's not communist stuff. That is like, welcome to capitalism, friendo. I mean, to be fair, like the main hedge fund that was losing off GameStop was Melvin Capital, and they've only been going since 2014. I think it's only 6 years old or something like that. Now, the amount of people who had pensions tied up in a 6-year-old hedge fund is probably pretty low. I mean, there's probably a certain amount of sovereign funds losing out, but I mean, like at the end of the day, you take risks when you have like a stocks and shares pension rather than like a defined benefit, defined contribution pension, right? Like and at the end of the day, the boomers whose pensions would be impacted is the people who took all the wealth away from the millennials in the first place. So yeah, it is what it is, right? Keep voting in policies that take money away from millennials and zoomers. And so it's the kind of redistribution that we were hoping for. But I mean, coming from a very wild source. But again, I think the amount of pensions that are going to get impacted by this are actually probably pretty low. And I mean, you have to crack a few eggs to make an omelette, right? And if this leads to a change in the way we organise, the way in which markets are organised to stop hedge funds essentially playing fast and loose with people's money, then, so be it. It's going to have to, unfortunately. Like, I mean, these people who, I mean, like, what millennials gonna do? I'm never gonna fucking pension, motherfucker. How am I gonna survive once I retire at 70? Like, this is what it is. I mean, exactly. Like, anytime, like, so, I mean, there was, I forget what the rule was, but there was a reason why they had to publicly Melvin had to publicly disclose the shorts they were doing, especially on GameStop, and which means that these kind of things are just gonna they're gonna happen because as soon as they publicly announce that a short sell, they're gonna get ratioed again, aren't they? Yeah, I mean, almost certainly lead to some kind of paradigm shift, and I'm almost certain that the people with all the money who control how these things work are going to end up changing the rules again, so they can't lose money. But at least we had this one time, like, but we'll see where it goes. There'll almost certainly like be some kind of legislation put into place to change how this works, to to defend these hedge funds moving forward. Because as I mentioned before, like they were genuinely of. I mean, I will definitely hope it'll shift people to the left, like, and especially if these people then use their massive amount of capital wealth to be able to then re-rig the system back in their favor again. I mean, it also, I'm assuming it will move people to the left, or move people closer to fascism. But it is what it is. And there will almost certainly people who will blame all of this on the triple parentheses, but. Do I want Taco Bell or Subway? That's the question. Taco Bell is free delivery, but Subway has more like veggies, and I feel like eating like at least somewhat healthily. Yeah, I mean, there's at least some amount of crypto. Speaking of ridiculous crypto investments, or at least like currency investments, did you ever hear about all the Trump people, the MAGA hats, who got duped into investing money into the Iraqi dinar? Anyone hear about that? So essentially, Trump when said something up when the Iraqi dinar was being brought up, and then as an offhand comment in an interview, Trump said something about how all of the currencies are just going to end up being the same value at some point, and all the Trumpsters took these words to massively to heart, and then just like massively bought like loads and loads of Iraqi dinar, which was a stupidly low value. And this never gone up in value because obviously because their economy is in tatters because of Western imperialism. But essentially, what they did is they bought loads of these things. Then there's this massive like Iraqi dinar community. Like you'll see people like talking about like there's like a daily dinar updates. People will do dinar unboxings. They've all bought like actual physical cash like in Iraqi dinar It's the funniest thing. And there are people still to this day who are still heavy in on the Iraqi dinar. It's almost like Trumpism was some kind of cult. Who could have known? My thumbnail, Phil. Who could have guessed a Halo fridge? Who could have guessed? Like, and the things that these people believe just like spread like wildfire. It's crazy to see. Completely off topic. What's everyone's favourite Subway sauce? Game on with honey mustard is the best. Oh, I actually have cookies in stock now. Sweet onion is great, I'm not gonna lie. I do love me some sweet onion. Oh, I love the first payday takeaway. This feels so good. Maybe I should buy some stocks, but GameStop being down 194. Maybe it's the time to maybe now is the time to buy your GME if you can find somewhere to buy it. I work in a call center. I do inbound upgrades for a mobile phone provider. No Sauce New Subway Dominion, interesting. Surprised Naked surprised that Naked is still up. It's interesting to see. And Sundial, although very slightly. Yeah, I work from home. Yeah, I get to. It means I get to use my stream setup when I'm actually working at home as well. So people who call up me to get an upgrade get really high fidelity audio from like an Ed's microphone. We'll also get loads of background noise as well. So can't my work PC means I can't like change the EQ or anything. Not that I change the EQ when I'm streaming anyway. I just have really crap audio quality. Jesus, what's happening with GME? The tank is the tank actually happening now? Is it actually tanking? Yeah, I mean, not surprising really. I mean, to be fair, there's still some time left, but guess it must have been the applications putting the freeze on stock purchases must have done it. Unless they're just re-shorting it again and again and again, like. True. I mean, like again, like at least the massive amount of publicity this has got has shown, the hedge fund massive like, I mean, like the huge like properly unregulated capitalists are like completely fucking like morally bankrupt. I like. I mean, I've always made my point as being a market socialist, right? I've always been a market socialist, so I believe in the socialized ownership of businesses to be able to have the means of production within a market framework. And I'm not sure about like shareholder socialism and things like that. Like I'm clearly just not massively up on these kind of things, but there at least needs to be some kind of social democratic reform where we stop this kind of thing from happening, because it's completely ridiculous. And it's just shown how like completely unregulated, like any kind of lack of regulation for the top end of our financial system, like the lack of regulation there really does screw things up. I mean, sndl again, like as Ham Yield was saying before, it's just some kind of, I think it's like just hype selling. Like that's what, like, I mean, we don't have any kind of details on SNDL being properly shorted in the same way GameStop was, so I don't have any proper advice on that. It seems like it's just like hype buying. I mean, like again, like I mean, the problems with capitalism that we have at the moment I just generous like Friedman, like post Thatcher, the post Thatcherite neoliberal paradigm they have at them is the problem. Is the lack of regulation, the like tearing up public assets and all these kind of things, um, and housing market deregulation specifically. That kind of led to the financial crash and leads to this kind of this kind of thing as well. So, I mean, it's I mean, I'm not surprised people are filing complaints against Robinhood for it, but it just again it just shows like how fucked the system is and how the amount of leverage these kind of billionaires have over our economy is completely criminal. You're absolutely right there, Will. I mean, I'm not again. I've never been a capitalist. I'm definitely a socialist, but like even people who are kind of staunch capitalists at this point have to admit that something is wrong. It's always been collusion. It's always been. I mean, like it helps in the UK where we have a party that's funded by corporations and a party that's funded by unions. So at least there is some kind of like, push and pull between the regular folk, between the working class and the bourgeoisie. But in the United States, for example, they just have two parties that are entirely funded by billionaires, entirely funded by corporations, entirely funded by these people. So that the chance of the working man getting any kind of the working man getting any kind of look in is complete fucking nothing, because both the parties are beholden to corporate interests. Like, in the United States is completely fucked in this regard. Like, which is why it's really important. Which is why I've always said it's really important for people in the UK to vote Labour. People have to vote Labour because, being able to at least have a party that is beholden to what the unions want is important. Otherwise, we just have this thing where, we look what's happening with the Tories at the moment, where they're just taking public money and just putting it into their friends' pockets. They're just taking public money and then just having these dodgy contracts with their mates or their donors, or people they're related to, and they'll just funnel public money into these. It's awful. Whatever works for 99%, the 1% makes it illegal. Yep, absolutely, you're absolutely right. True. I mean, it's difficult. I mean, at least this kind of throws things into sharp relief with regards from a public perspective. Because for a long time, the left and the right were entirely divided by the culture war. At least that's what the media have tried to push between people, because trying to give the people this fear that they're going to lose everything to Black Lives Matter or social justice warriors is very easy to push, and to try and deflect away from these big businesses and these big hedge funds and these corporate bastards who are the genuine enemy of working people. Yeah, the socially liberal, fiscally conservative bunch. I mean, they'll probably just. If a bunch of those kind of people, like the kind of if a bunch of neoliberals become soc dems, then that's gonna be good, right? Like, to be fair, we spend a lot. We do spend a lot of time telling people to go look at Nordic economies and tell people how much better they are than. From a relative perspective to European to UK and US economies, and people don't listen. They're just like, well, if you don't like it, just move. I'm just like, fucking hell, we just want to make the country better by copying successful economic paradigms, right? This is kind of it's exposed to kind of the ugly underbelly that we just don't. We like to think, because we're told that that capitalism is just a bunch of people, just a bunch of stick figures doddering around making random transactions at their local mum and dad stores. when that's not what it is. The top one, what it actually really is people playing around with numbers in a bowl of dream juice, trying to make them like with huge, like unfathomably large amounts of wealth, and then using that to be able to, profit off, the losses that other people make. Like Brexit was another thing where like the capital class managed to get away scot-free whilst impacting regular people. Same thing with short selling. Same thing with a financial crisis. And it just keeps happening. And then hopefully this is going to open people's eyes. I hope so. I do hope things are going to change. Yes, Dominion, yeah, because you can like you I mean if you are trying to sell, no one can buy, right? I mean, I I don't know. It's difficult, right? I mean, like, do you have to just like completely nuke the stock market as an entity? But how do you get back from that? The easiest thing to be able to do is just stop people from like putting these trade freezes and stop the government getting involved in putting additional regulations to save businesses, right? Or to like stop like to have governments in place that aren't going to bail out these banks and these hedge fund managers when they do make bets that fuck up. It's difficult, isn't it? Just check my food. 5 minutes away. Look at how it was early today as well. As high as 473. Now it's down all the way at 155. Well, that's the big point. That's the biggest problem. That's just that they just when we had what was happening on, but when we've had the people doing the short bets they were doing at the moment, they deliberately are using their leverage as billionaires to tank other people's businesses. It's crazy. Right, I'm gonna have to stop my camera for a bit at the moment because I'm going to go get some food. But I'm gonna leave the stream up and you can watch the stocks tank even further. Although it seems to be climbing back up again, which is nice. But I will leave the stream up for a bit and you can all talk amongst yourselves.